Yeah, guys, I can hear you. Actually, we're not so close to that flooding, which is the good news, that it hasn't gotten so bad down here. We're actually, you can tell the wind is pretty bad, but we're actually on the 5th story up here at a parking garage, and you can just check out. I apologize, folks. It's incredibly windy up here, and we're getting a lot of rain, but so far, not a lot of flooding you can see on the ground, but certainly the winds are extremely powerful. We do know that Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish talking about how there were some 70, even 80 mile per hour wind gusts here, and that is completely believable because we've seen shrapnel from buildings here kind of flapping off of the buildings, as well as trees blowing really hard, and we've heard a lot of kind of a lot of loud banging outside of this parking garage, which tells you that the wind may be having its way with some of our trees and some of our buildings. But just take a look at these trees and how we haven't seen any blowdown yet, but it just shows you how powerful the wind is here. Second of all, we are focusing on the waves as well, and we've shown you this shot a lot, but the shot of Jack's Beach Pier here and just how strong and powerful the waves are. They've been crashing into the pier. And if you were on that pier, I've mentioned it several times, you just might be swallowed up by it because the waves have been crashing up so high. Not a lot of people. You do see one car down there. Not a good idea to be out in this conditions. We've had Jack's Beach Police trying to monitor the situation, make sure people are not out here, make sure they're not out on the beach, certainly not out in the water, but it's certainly not a good idea to be out here. Since it's intensified, we have not seen a lot of people here at this time, and of course we know businesses have taken the precautions and have been boarding up their businesses with wooden boards, as well as sandbagging their doors as well to try and protect themselves from this storm. But just even though we are under this in this parking garage, we are completely not staying dry as well, because you can just see how strong the wind blows into the parking garage. It's incredibly strong, and you can actually feel it. It's a lot like feeling pins and needles when it's hitting you as it's blowing in. We're going to keep you updated with all the latest information, say with Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish and all of the other, with Ariel Nixon and the rest of the First Alert Weather team, and they'll bring you all the latest. But please, folks, again, stay out of this. It's just for your own safety. We're reporting in Jack's Beach. Kevin Clark, CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
Kevin, if you could stay with us for just a second here, because you're at a great vantage point to really give us an idea of how things have changed over the last several hours. And you're at a good, safe spot. I don't know if you can still hear me, Kevin. It looks like maybe they're breaking down. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you.
All right,
I can still hear you.
All right,
yeah.
let your photographer know. We're going to keep him on here for just one more second, because I want to, if we can, go back out to the pier and talk to us about how much that water has either come up or come down. You know, high tide there in that area was about an hour ago. Are you starting to see the water go down a little bit, or is it still coming up? What have you seen over the last several hours? Just walk us through the water level.
Yeah, I would say it's, John, it's definitely receded in the last hour or so, certainly at high tide. And even before that, we'd seen the water crash up, and Ryan's doing a good job showing you that pier right now, and it's still incredibly strong. Of course, you wouldn't want to go out there at this time, but at its peak was about an hour ago, a little before, just from what we could notice, and the waves were just incredibly strong and powerful. You can even still see them now, even though it's not peak high tide anymore. Just the strength of those waves crashing into the pier, it's definitely dangerous.
Kevin, did you ever have any water breaching the streets there about an hour ago? Because we were showing video just south of you of water rushing up the beach access roads there onto First Street. And I'm just curious if you ever saw any of that, or was it staying on the beaches still?
We haven't seen that. We've been pretty lucky so far, at least here. It hasn't been as bad as even I've anticipated so far. But yeah, that was further south. That video, I'm guessing you're referencing, with the streets being washed up and a lot of the streets being underwater. Have not seen that so far, although we've seen the waves get aggressively close to the shore, but just from what we can see the boardwalk and everything like that, and we have not had water cross that point. You can even see there are, a couple of cars over there and some people standing around there toward the boardwalk area, and water has not even come up that far. So that's the good news for where we are.
All right, good news. Hey, Kevin, listen, one more question for you. I know a lot of people are asking about the pier and concerned about whether the pier is going to make it through this. Have you gotten any information on that? I mean, we can see it, and we can see that the water is lapping up next to it. Have you seen anything damage-wise with the pier, or have you heard anything as to what they're expecting with this?
Hard to tell damage-wise, but certainly, the advice stays the same with the officials here, is to just stay out of the area. Just better safe than sorry. And that includes the pier, that includes any part of the boardwalk or the beaches area. Obviously, they closed the bridges, and Jack's Beach police have done a pretty good job. We haven't seen them so much lately because the storm has intensified, but they've been out and about making sure there aren't people in places where they shouldn't be, making sure there aren't people out on the beach, and that certainly includes the pier. But no damage from what I can see.
All right, Kevin, thank you so much. You guys kind of take a break and get inside a little bit. I do have some answers to that last question. Back in '99, Hurricane Floyd actually took out the old Jacksonville Beach Pier, and the new pier was rebuilt with concrete pylons, and the wooden deck is designed to break away. The wooden parts are designed to break away, and the city set aside about $800,000 to do repair work on the decking there, no matter if it's a storm or not. So they have a provision in place because of the lessons they learned from '99 about the pier, and so the wood would break away. The concrete would stay, so they ideally would be able to rebuild.
Absolutely. The question is whether that wood will break away or not, and that those things can become flying projectiles. I know down in South Florida they were actually peeling off decking in anticipation of the storm, certainly. Right now we know that the city is giving a briefing on the latest preparations. We've got a crew there. We're having trouble getting live out of there because this weather is wreaking havoc on some of our live shots, as you can tell. But we do have numbers growing with power outages, and Paige Kelton has been following the latest on that. I know in Duval it's well over 70,000 customers without power, Paige.
And growing. In just the last 10 minutes, John, I can tell you it's now up to 78,000 JEA customers right now. I've mirrored my iPad to the monitor here so I can zoom in. Power outages really across town. Obviously, we would expect the JEA customers out in Atlantic Beach, 4,900 impacted there. Up by the Timucuan Eco Lodge up here, power out. It looks like